Today's video is sponsored by Keeps.
Today, we are taking a whole lot of chocolate and turning it into something a little more ferocious. We're here at the studio.
This is the studio that Nate and I used to work at. It's called Big Statues.
We've got tons of finished and partially finished statues around us. Today we're going to be taking a look at what it takes to go from a blob of unformed clay to a finished bronze statue.
In the past, we've worked with a YouTuber by the name of Jazza. Now, Jazza has challenged us to make something sculpted out of chocolate. Thankfully, Nate and I have done a lot of sculpting in the past.
Hey Nate, how you going?
Going good, how about you?
I'm feeling pretty good, although I feel like there's been this dance that's been happening between us where we've been doing these like intermittent like food art challenges and then referencing each other. So we've been sort of responding to each other, and I feel like it's about time we did something directly together because I feel like it's just bound to be cool, right? Why don't we start off? I'm going to throw it right at you. I'm gonna request that you guys make something really cool with chocolate.
Now you're not like a hidden professional like chocolatier baker or anything, right?
No, nah, it's fine. You'll be great. You'll do great.
All right, I like this. So we will see what we can do, and we'll let you check it out. And then after that, you're gonna have to respond with your own chocolate art, something. How's that sound? You like that?
Bring it on. Challenge
All right.
accepted.
Good. It better be. We're going down.
Good luck, man. I mean, bad luck.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so the first thing that we want to try to do is just carving a piece of chocolate. Can we make anything really cool out of it?
I'm going to do what is called a bas relief, which is like a slightly into the main sculpture surface, such as coins. Coins are bas relief sculpture. I'm going to try and copy George Washington's face in this block of chocolate.
And everything that we're doing would be called subtractive sculpting. That means that we're taking away, we're not adding stuff like you do with clay.
I'm gonna make a duck.
Here are my concerns. One, it's not terribly cold where we are right now. Two, my hands are also warm, so as I touch this, it's immediately starting to build up on my hands.
Are you making a duck too?
It's a dragon.
I don't know what Grace is. She looks like she's just cutting it apart. I don't know.
My sweaty hands are melting it.
My non-sweaty hands are also melting it.
The sweat is dripping down my hand.
My hands are too cold to melt chocolate. My dragon's tail broke.
I just broke the duck's head off.
This is not easy. I broke its tail again.
I'm gluing my duck back together with sweat.
Gross.
Gosh.
I'm done.
What is happening to my dragon? It's not a dragon.
I got something that sort of vaguely kind of resembles George Washington overall. Not a huge fan of this method.
No.
So I think we're gonna do what some people might consider cheating.
We're still gonna be building something out of chocolate, but instead of subtractive, we're gonna go with the additive method.
So a bronze statue is going to start out with the sculpt, and we've got several at different stages in this room right now. Every clay structure needs support on the inside. Clay by itself isn't strong enough to hold up a full life-size statue, so we build what's called an armature. It acts as sort of a skeleton inside the statue. This one has been used already and the clay peeled off of it, but it used to be Benjamin Franklin.
Tools vary wildly when you're sculpting with clay. It really comes down to what works best for the artist. So you have some pieces that are like this wire tool, which you use to scrape clay away, and then you have some pieces that are little styluses, pieces of wood that you can use to knock the clay around with. Everything down to dental tools for the really fine details.
After a statue is completed with the sculpt, then you move on to making a mold, and there's a few ways to do that. Often what you need to do is divide the statue up into different pieces and sometimes cut parts off if they stick out too much. All of this metal is what we call shims, and it's just here to divide the mold up so that after it all gets painted in silicone, there's dividing lines where you can take it off in separate panels. You can't have the whole thing covered and peel the entire statue at once. It needs to be in pieces.
So Luis is actually working on a statue that has already been shimmed up and is now getting molded. So it's in silicone. Is this dry right now?
Yeah.
All right, so this is dry, and the silicone's going to be about this thick around the mold. Once this is completely dry and has all the layers on it, we'll put a coating of plaster over it in the same pieces that the shims cover so that it's got a little bit more support when you take it apart.
Now that we've taken a look at how the silicone mold is made on the statue, here's what it looks like after you've removed it. It's in several pieces, and you can see how the plaster mold jacket helps the flimsy rubber mold stay in the exact right shape. And because Calli and I have discovered that we are definitely no good at carving blocks of chocolate,
Nope, broke the wing off. Mine wasn't meant to be a duck.
our tricky little plan is we're going to cast chocolate into this mold of a complete statue, put the panels together, and make a giant chocolate statue that way instead. This mold has been used at least once before, and a lot of the mold pieces are a little bit dirty. They've got little bits of the wax and the plaster from the mold in them, and we want this chocolate tiger to be edible, so we gotta clean it all out. I got a power washer. I'm gonna try and clean everything and hopefully not damage the mold at all. This is going to take a lot of chocolate, and we're going to need it to be liquid so that we can either brush or pour it into the molds. While we will melt it in any number of ways, crock pot, double boiler, microwave, we need to be careful about how we melt it. If it gets too hot, it can change consistency, color, flavor, or it can just straight up burn. I think we got them all. Every piece is covered with a very thick layer of chocolate. Why? All right. So now we begin the process of well, things have to cool off a little bit on some of them, but we begin the process of removing every piece of chocolate from the mold and then assembling them together.
The good news is we're painting everything.
The other good news is that it's time to go wash my hands
Maybe your face too.
and face. Once the molds are brought to the foundry, the first step is pouring wax. Molten wax is poured into the mold in thin layers to build up until it's the right thickness. Once the wax is built to the right thickness, it's removed from the mold. The wax panels are covered with wax channels called sprues. These will allow the molten bronze to flow everywhere it needs to when it's time to pour. These cups are made by pouring molten wax into the silicone shape, and it's really there to act as a sort of funnel when we're pouring the molten bronze down into the rest of the casting. Pretty much every pour has one of these on them, so you need a bunch. Once the wax pieces have the sprues and the funnel attached, it's time to coat them in ceramic. First into a liquid ceramic bath, and then a layer of sand that helps build up the thickness. Oh, that's so cool. We've built a fluid sand bed in the past based on the design that Mark Rober came up with. This is one of the actual uses for a fluid sand bed. So you can see that this, my hand doesn't sink into it or go anywhere, but when I activate it, all the air flowing through turns it into a fluid. How cool is that? Once the ceramic is all dry, the pieces go into an autoclave, a giant pressurized steam oven to melt out all of the wax. After all of the layers of the ceramic have been put on and the wax gets melted out, what you're left with is a sort of hollow ceramic spiderweb network of tubes ready for the molten bronze to be poured into the ceramic shell. After the wax is melted out of all of the ceramic shells, they're heated up to about the same temperature as molten bronze. While that's happening, a bunch of bronze is being melted in a large-scale foundry. This is quite a bit bigger than anything we've built on the channel before. The molten bronze is poured from a large crucible into each one of the shells until they're all the way full. At this temperature, the bronze should flow easily into even the smallest of nooks and crannies inside the shell. With the shell removed, it's time to cut off all of the excess bronze, the sprues and the funnel that were attached before. At this point, the statue is a pile of panels that need to be welded together. Since the weld lines aren't part of the final statue, you need to use grinding tools to remove them, as well as mimic the original tool marks left in the clay by the sculptor. With everything welded together, sandblasting is used to give a nice even finish on the statue, ready to take a patina. Thank you for the reveal of the tiger cub face. You definitely have a lot of chocolate smeared on your forehead now.
Well done.
All right, so we've got this board up here on our table. We are going to be demolding everything, trying to figure out which pieces go where, and then starting to assemble them on this board. So in theory, if everything was done well, the mold jacket, the plaster pieces behind the silicone, should come apart from the silicone pretty nicely. Hey, that part worked.
All right.
And then the silicone should peel off of the chocolate also pretty nicely. And on this panel, that's just one big, fairly smooth piece. That worked out great. I believe that's part of his spine.
First one to break a piece loses.
I don't like this game.
Tigers.
We have lots of tigers.
Oh, it worked.
It actually worked really, really well.
We haven't tried this before, so we were both pretty nervous. We didn't know if the strength would be good. We didn't know if like the way we're not tempering the chocolate would have, you know, enough cohesion to stick together, but it's there. I mean, we made our tigers and it's holding together. So now we're doing some final cleanup work, little bits of carving, details, filling in spots with molten chocolate, and then we're gonna be moving on to adding our paint. We're patinaing this with some food grade gold paint. The food paint we're applying with an airbrush acts as a patina for our chocolate tiger, similar to how a patina is added to a real bronze statue. A variety of chemicals, along with a little bit of heat, can greatly change the color and surface finish of the bronze. At this point, the statue is finished and is ready to be installed.
Guys, I haven't been this proud of a project in a long time.
Well, this turned out really, really well. I was hoping for something like this, although honestly this is better than I imagined when we started doing this. It looks like a metal statue. It's giant for something made out of chocolate. And I love how it looks.
Okay, show me. What have you got? What is that? Oh my God, you have like huge industrial machines. Is that all chocolate or you're making a mold?
Calli and I both used to work at a sculpture studio.
Well, that's gonna come in handy. Wow, look at the tiger head. That's sick. That's amazing, dude. Man, I have so much A game to bring. Wow. Oh my God. Oh my God. What? This puts the Disney Lion King live action remake to shame. Oh, wow. Just hats off. I don't have any hats. I didn't bring them because I knew it would be blown off. I think in my part of the challenge, we're still setting up our studio and getting our bearings. So I'm thinking in about 3 or 4 weeks from now, when I release my video, I'm going to see how close I can get to working with chocolate like clay. So sort of the opposite direction, seeing how much of an art medium I can make chocolate out of and working with it from scratch, but working with it in its raw form as a mold and creating that statue and the bronze, like hats off. That is so incredible. You guys did an amazing job.
Today's video is sponsored by Keeps. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time that they're 35. The best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have hair left.
With Keeps, a licensed doctor will review your information online and recommend the right hair loss treatment plan for you. Then your treatment is shipped directly to your door every 3 months. Keeps is more affordable because it offers generic versions of the FDA-approved medications for hair loss.
Prevention is key with Keeps. Treatment takes 4 to 6 months or more for you to see results. So it's important to start using it sooner rather than later. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/TKOR or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's KEEPS.com/TKOR.
Hey guys, I just wanted to take a minute to let you know that this is going to be my last episode here on TKOR. So I wanted to thank you for the amazing support that you've given me over the past couple of years. It's been a wild ride and an adventure. I'm really happy I was able to end it on this note because this is something that I'm actually very passionate about and that I love a lot. I won't be going away entirely, however. You can still find me on Instagram at Calbits, or you can find me on my new Twitch channel where I'm going to be streaming different types of video games, crafts, different sorts of things that you guys have asked to see from me over the years. I'll be doing at twitch.tv/Calbits. So you can go ahead and find me. Those links will be in the description below. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you there. Paper towel! Paper towel!
What, you don't sing about paper towels? Noobs.